Hello, and welcome to Special Topics in Ethnography. My name is Dr. Guy Lotriciano. I'm an associate professor here in the Department of Clinical Research and Leadership in the School of Medicine and Health Sciences at GW. I have been a faculty member for about 17 years. And I've always wanted to teach this course. This is, in fact, the first time we'll be teaching this course. And I'm really excited that we have what looks like a good diversity of students in the class. I wanted to get you started with a video to sort of acclimate you to the course, to make sure everyone is familiar with how to use Blackboard and that sort of thing. I'm not quite sure of everyone's background exactly, but I do know some people are from Children's and some people are from Milken, I believe, and also nursing. So we do things a little bit different at each one of those departments. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to take you through the course. So what I'm going to do is just talk through, first off, what the purpose of this course is, and what I hope you get out of it. Many of you may already be aware of the importance of anthropological reporting of health issues in health science research, but also not only research, but the techniques associated with reporting on a phenomena or an individual case, et cetera, for the importance of providing a viewpoint that belongs to the person or people that are dealing with a particular health issue. My expertise, besides having a background in anthropology, is in the area of team science. And more, I'm trying to get students to understand how important it is that even when you're working in scientific environments, to have representation of those people who actually are dealing with the problem, be it a disease or a disorder, or maybe even an environmental issue, that perspective is really critical to understand and to capture the experience of those who are challenged by the problems that we're trying to affect and improve the lives of individuals. So in the first week, you'll learn a little bit more about ethnography, but let me speak more generally. So the idea here for an ethnography course in health sciences, no matter what part of the health sciences you tend to work in, is what I just described, to understand some of the techniques that are used to tell story in the voice of the people being affected by a problem. And you, as your role as a researcher, but also as a clinician, being able to sort of be their liaison with the public, with the audience, that their stories would be important to tell. So in this course, very unfortunately, ethnography is one of those methods that takes a lot of time in the field. It gets very personal and up close with individuals, and both because of the period of time we have and also the challenges associated with going deep into any sort of research with a group or a person. I decided to teach this course sort of in a deconstructed way. So first off, there are several books that you're going to need. The first one is this, let me see if I can get in there. This textbook. This is the textbook we'll use for the course. It's the Handbook for Ethnography and Healthcare Research. I've chosen to use a textbook this first time around rather than pulling materials from very many different resources that speak to ethnography, trying to make it a little bit easier for you all to follow along. You'll notice at times during the sessions, it looks like you have to read a lot of chapters. The chapters are relatively short. In many cases, you could read two or three of these chapters in a 30-minute period of time. So this is our go-to handbook, and this is what we will be speaking from uh, throughout the course. Then what I provided you with here in the required text list are three ethnographies, very different. One is about life on the line, young doctors who came of age during the pandemic. Looks like this. The other is what I believe is another very relevant topic for the times we're living in, called After War, The Weight of Life at Walter Reed. These is ethnography about soldiers returning home and their time spent at Walter Reed. And then lastly, a quite unique ethnography that's done in pictorial form. You might be thinking to yourself it's a cartoon book, but trust me, it's a little deeper than that. Called Lisa, A Story About Medical Promise, Friendship, and Revolution, which is sort of a cross-cultural ethnography set in the Middle East. So instead of going out and doing research, having a lot of interview work to do, and sort of transferring it into a written product, which is very time consuming. I thought what we do is study ethnographies and then sort of deconstruct and look at the methodologies and so forth that these authors are using to tell these stories that they're writing. Ethnographies do not need to be long books. They can be much shorter stories, and you're going to hear me use that word a lot because they really are stories. That's the intention of the way that they transfer knowledge. So it's really more a matter of how do we translate what's going on in a storytelling mode so that we capture both the data, if you want to call it, but also the experience and the way that phenomena, organizations, individuals would choose to tell their story as well. So it's quite a unique methodology in the more naturalistic methodologies. And again, in session one, you'll have a chance to sort of review that as well. So the course objectives here are really to identify context for research in health sciences that could benefit from an ethnographic lens. And like I said, I'm giving you some examples here, but then also our textbook has some mini examples as well. And we'll have an opportunity to talk about how you might be using it. I'm not sure yet. We may have students that are in doctoral programs and are thinking about this sort of work as part of maybe their dissertation. I know some of you have terminal degrees already, and you might be working in a context where you want to know more about how you could tell the stories of your clinical enterprise, for instance, and others. So as I get to know you a little better, I can help you sort of place what your goals are for this course. So of course, we're going to illustrate the unique methods that go with ethnography, including mainly what are sort of the main tenets of doing ethnography, including participant observation, writing field notes, and interviewing. We're going to develop some of these skills and analysis of things that you're reading, so you can think about how you might apply them to case studies, scientific storytelling, large study designs that require not only one method like ethnography, but that may go along or alongside other types of method that might be less naturalistic and maybe even more positivistic. So again, we'll talk a little bit about that. And you'll also be proposing a research model. In other words, you'll be putting together sort of a mock design model, which could be mock in that you have would always like to do this and haven't had the opportunity, or maybe it's not so mock and it's something that you really want to do as part of your education, um, again, in a dissertation program, a master's program, or even something that you want to do in your clinical enterprise. So here on the tab that says, sorry, syllabus, that's where I've been talking from. I also lay out what we do from each session. In this course, because ethnography is a very rich and deep method, you really need time to get into the writing. So, excuse me, both reading and writing. So I've built in some weeks where it's catch up for reading time. And I don't mean reading for out of the textbook, but rather reading one of these three ethnographies that I described, listed here. Now, ideally, there's 6 people in the course. I'd love to see 2 people take on one of each of these. But I also want to make room for what your primary interests are. And like I said, I tried to choose some ethnographies that are relevant to the world we're living in today. If we don't have exactly 2 people on each ethnography, that's fine. I want you to, enjoy reading the book. So, these are not heavy duty reading. They're not very dense, but they are deep. So I've worked into this semester a couple weeks where all you do is catch up on reading. And I think that is appropriate to the type of reflection necessary when you're thinking about doing ethnography. So you should find all the relevant information about grading and university policies and all that good stuff on the syllabus tab on the left. Then uh, on the weekly sessions, you'll see each week is broken down. Let me go to the first week, for instance, which is this week. I want you to do a little reading from the textbook and also watch a couple relatively short videos about what ethnography is. And then also, and this may be new to some of you and not so new to others of you, depending on where you are in your career and education, the different types of qualitative or what we call naturalistic research. And it's a comparison, and you can see what the differences are between case study, grounded theory, narrative, ethnography, etc. So sort of gives you a look at the differences even within naturalistic research methodologies. And then it's also important, of course, that we get to know each other a little bit and learn what your background is, identify yourself, tell us anything you want us to know about you. I also want you to speak to what you hope to get out of the class and what attracts you to ethnography as a methodology, especially after you have looked at some of the materials, either viewed them or what you found out by reading the chapter. Um, uh, so I also want you this week to look into one of the 3 ethnographies and identify which one you would like to focus on. And you can put that in the same discussion board. So let me go to discussion boards first. You will notice if you've had online courses here at GW, especially some schools do this very differently. Um, uh, you might have a discussion board every week. I find that to be a little taxing sometimes. And I think I prefer to give you discussion boards when I really think they're necessary, especially if you're doing something that requires you to do a little activity first and then share it with your classmates. So you'll see in the beginning, we don't have so many discussion boards that'll come later in the semester. However, there are assignments. So again, left toolbar, and if you go to assignments, you will see each of the assignments in their own little box here. So you will have an ethics paper due after week 2, I believe. And then there's a grading rubric. I always try to remind everyone to please look at the grading rubric, so you know what I'm looking for in your assignment. I also want to reiterate that at this level, the expectation is that you're using the American Psychological Association Edition 7 style sheet. If you're unfamiliar with that, I recommend that you either purchase the style sheet or use, an online version that you can get through the library. By the way, very sadly, I could not get the textbook in ebook in the library. Maybe next year, I was told. So unfortunately, that's a purchase you're going to need to make. The other books, the ethnographies, are all available free to you as GW students using the library. If you are from children's and you are not used to using the library and you do not have a GWID card, GWID number, which I doubt because you wouldn't have been able to choose this class. You may need to go through the process of getting an ID to access what's necessary from the library. But in any case, right now, I think everyone should be able to access those things. So you can see every assignment is you know, described, the rubric is there, this is a light week, so you might want to just peruse these things. If you're interested as to what's due when, go to the syllabus and you'll see assignments that are due and which week they're due. And uh, Usually assignments are going to be due the last day of the weekly session. So we start on a Monday typically and end on a Sunday. So if you have a written assignment due, or if you even have an activity that is due, you're going to want to target Sunday to have it posted to the Blackboard. By the way, I just recognized I did not put a discussion board here. I will. In fact, I'll do it right now. Um, I highly recommend that if you have a question that everyone could benefit from, to put your question in the Ask the Prof box, which is right here. It'll be at the very top. This is a place to ask questions that everyone would benefit from. Of course, if you have a private question for me, you can email me, or I'm always available to set up a time and talk. Okay. Um, what else? If you're interested in me and what I do, there's the faculty. There's the faculty page. My work phone number is my only phone number. So if you need to contact me, please feel free. In these sorts of courses that are online, there's no fixed office hours, but rather you contact me and propose a time so that we can, work around your work schedule or, whatever. And, I'm not adverse to speaking with people after work hours or something like that. Each week you will get an announcement from me, usually saying, you know, welcome to week 3 or 4 or whatever. Just a reminder to take a look at this week's video, like the video I'm providing right now. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Again, the best way to reach out to me is to use this Ask the Prof um, uh, discussion place, because that'll go straight to my email. I'm really looking forward to working with you on this course this semester. I hope we have a really productive time. We are a small class, and once we get rolling, we might opt to do some maybe Zoom meetings or something like that to allow us to discuss in more detail some of the work. So looking forward to working with you. I hope this video was helpful. And this week, if you have any questions about the assignments or what the goals are for this week, please reach out to me. All the best. Thank you very much. And I hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.